Hello and welcome. Camera's a little foggy. There we go. What you're looking at is a Suzuki DT115 Outboard. It is from 1990, don't know. And yeah, now we're caught up. This came on a boat. Judging the boat was last registered 14 years ago. There's a good chance the motor hasn't been used since then. So it's been sitting a while. Basically going to see if it's any good and take it from there. Got some good plans for this motor. I don't entirely know which way I'm going to go with it yet. Whether it's going to be Craigslist or OfferUp or that kind of thing, but either way, you know, I got plans. So as you can see, it's pretty dirty, pretty standard out here with our wind-blown dusts. You get very fine silts pretty much everywhere. So hood on or not really going to make a difference. It's still going to get in there. Well, that is slightly better. So, I don't know if the power trim and tilt works. Don't really know much about it at all. I just took it off the boat. So, I'll give you an idea. Our first problem doesn't steer. If you notice, somebody cut the steering cable as well as the shift and throttle cables. So, hopefully the steering cable is what's stuck. Which is going to be its whole list of problems by itself. But it's better than the center section being stuck. No. So I'm going to disconnect the steering rod. Hope that gives us steering again. And then get some power to it and see what it can do. Just got to get a little flathead in there. Get that rod out of the cable. This would be easier if the cable was out here. Let it out. Alright, well, it's clearly steering, so that being stuck is our problem. And that's going to be fun, because that means it's a good chance that that is going to be stuck in there as well. Let's get a wire brush and clean that off. On a Johnson Evinrude, it would be a 1 1/8. And since it's a universal steering, same thing here. However, tilt tube is spinning. Which is its own problem because the nut isn't a 1 1/4. It's slightly larger. That went on there, kind of. All right, good enough. Maybe it is 1 1/4. I just don't know what I'm doing. Probably the case. Well, this might be easier than I thought. Well, there's some of it. Let me find that hammer. I mean, it moved, but barely. It's got a long way to go. Bigger hammer. Well, it's getting there. It's about a 1/4 inch of the way out. Piece of cake. So yeah, it's just grease turned to glue, compiled with fine dust of sand. So quick ream and we should be good on that. Okay, we have our battery terminal. Positive is the 10 mil right here. And the negative, ground or earth or whatever, is the 12 mil right here. So that's kind of interesting. That's a rubber mount. Oh, this is weird. All right, I whipped myself up a adapter to power whatever this wire does. I cut the wire out of the old cables and put it on there. Well, I cut the wire out of the old terminals and then just put a ring terminal on it. Seems like it'll work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Of course it'll work. But now we don't need to buy this fancy dancy factory cables. We just put whatever we feel like in here. Okay, that is attached. Now we can get some power to this thing and see if it's got any life in it. Alright, its version of the manual release valve is this thing right here on the side of the pump. I loosened it to get the motor down. Now it's tightened to see if it works. Let's get these plugs out of there. I don't know what size they're going to be. That size, cool. Spark plugs look pretty good. Not even that old. I mean, they're 20 years old probably, but not much use, I guess. Bottom one's the ugliest, but just as nice inside. Alright, I got 2 compression gauges installed. This looks like the starter for my jet ski. Anyway, screw some lube in there, make sure it wouldn't get stuck. Starter wires run through here. There's a ground which goes right to the battery, and then positive is there, which means this little thing is our starter solenoid. So we gotta figure out how to jump it. So with a Johnson Evinrude, if something happens when you're out on the water, you can jump the solenoid with, your keys, a wrench, a screwdriver, quarter, pretty much anything you got, really. This, I don't like this. All right, I'll let you pay attention to the sparker. Yeah, I don't see no spark coming out of there. But then again, that's not in all the way. Well, that ain't good. Compression's fine. 130 on both. Well, anyway, you can't tell, but it's there. Let's try this one. No spark. Now, it may have spark. I don't know. Maybe it needs the controller hooked up, which I doubt. Alright, well, no spark so far, but we do have good compression. Well, no spark, ain't much going on with this now. Oh, it's moving. Look at that. Well, you can't see. This thing ain't too bad. First impression, like, it's easy to identify what's going on, except for these two things. We got a PEI unit and an ignition unit, and we got a harness that goes between the two. What is this? What is this? Who cares? Anyway, and then coils. I like that we have a wiring diagram right on it. It tells exactly what's going on. That's kind of cool. Part of this video, I was hoping, we'd get spark. We take those carburetors off, clean them, and see if it runs. Because then when you sell it, running a motor is a much, easier thing to sell than a non-running motor. But, I don't know. Let's go price out a, parts for this thing, I suppose. Got to drain the oil out of this thing. Leaking everywhere. Okay, I'm here at marineengine.com. Let's see what we can find. Let's see, Suzuki outboard parts can be hard to find. We can help with parts to fit Suzuki from Sierra, BRP, and Recar Marine. Okay, let's go to boats.net, and we look Suzuki. And so far, so good. I think we have a 1981. We have a 115. And whatever that is probably fine. Alright, we know our ignition doesn't work, so let's go ahead and see what we got in the electrical tab. Alright, 2. Rectifier and regulator, unavailable. Wiring harness, unavailable. Wiring extension, unavailable. Neutral safety switch, unavailable. So that's getting us nowhere. No, this is something. What is this thing? 15 is the box for the insulator. Not it. Box insulator, not available. Okay. That's interesting. So let's check out number 8. Relay starter. $177 for a starter relay. Jeez. Well, at least you can get one, I guess. What's number 11? Semiconductor oil level. Well, can't get whatever that's doing. So, yeah, this is trim relay. You can't even buy a trim relay. The bracket for the trim relay isn't available. The trim relays themselves aren't available. The cables for the trim relays aren't available. No wiring, no holders. Just looks like nuts, bolts, and screws is all you're getting out of that one. So that's worthless. Just check electrical 2. See what we got. Number 5, solenoid choke. We don't need one, but it's unavailable. So that's unfortunate. So let's close that tab. Alright, ignition. That's what we need. There we go. Coils, number 6. Coil ignition, not available. 1, 2, and 3, all 4 unavailable, so no, you're not getting ignition coils. Let's check number 19 out. The CDI unit is not available. Okay, that's good. You can buy spark plugs, spark plug caps. Can you buy spark plugs? Yeah, you can buy spark plugs and spark plug caps. That's something. Let's close that. Let's check out the magneto. It's going to be under the flywheel. Number 5 and number 6. 5, stator, unavailable. 6, timer base and sensor, unavailable. 2, crucial key components, not available. Alright, let's see the power unit, which should be the power trim and tilt. The motor is not available. The assist isn't available. Number 7, the armature, unavailable. Whole list of unavailable things. The only things looks like that are available are screws, bolts, and washers. And the tube for the motor cable, so a plastic tube. You can buy that. Let's look at the remote control. I don't have a key. Number 33. 33, switch ignition, unavailable. Can I get a lanyard if I wanted it? Can't tell what number that is. Looks like 30. You can buy. All right, so you can buy the lanyard or the emergency switch. That's $40. That's surprising. But otherwise, just a bunch of unavailable stuff in here, really. Alright, well, that's good to know. Let's check out the, no reason to check out the transmission, which would be the gears and stuff. Let's check the water pump. It's crucial to an outboard. Water pump repair kit. Hard to tell, but it looks like it's number 23. Water pump repair kit is not available. The case, the housing for the water pump is not available. Let's check the impeller, number 14. Impeller is available for $65.99. Okay, and so is the ring seal, so that's good. Can we get a 17 gasket? Nope, I'm not buying a new gasket for it. So you're not getting a water pump kit, but you could buy an impeller and one of the O-rings. So yeah, that's something. So marineengine.com here, they straight tell you, like, Suzuki parts, no. Boats.net at least gives you hope until you start looking for things you need, and then you realize that marineengine.com just leveled with you right from the beginning. Alright, so that's where we are on parts. So are these good engines? I don't know. I don't think it really matters because you can't buy ignition components for it. What good is it? you know? So, I don't know. Build quality, it seems fine. It seems like it's lasted, you know, overall the paint and the quality of all the materials, they seem fine. But standard parts, not available. So, Craigslist it goes. I don't think I'll be buying another one, ever. And, yeah, even if I got a boat with one that ran on it, I'd probably still swap it out for an Evinrude. You know, buy anything you want for an Evinrude. All right, so this thing just popped up for sale. $900 for this little boat. Probably not a bad price. Trailer looks pretty beefy. The boat looks pretty well built. It's got a Suzuki DT15 on it, which is kind of interesting because what I've seen so far on parts manuals, the DT15s aren't really on there, but the DT 9.9s are, or DT10s, whatever they are, in the parts manual. Anyway, so it says water won't discharge, tube is clogged, clear titles on boat and trailer. Anyway, so the water won't discharge, tube is clogged. Well, maybe better needs water pump. So let's go look at the parts for that thing, shall we? All right, back to boats.net. Research has shown me that the 9.9 15s were made in the late 80s. What's interesting, though, is the parts manuals here don't show a 15. They only show a 9.9, but it's probably the same family of engines, so any parts we buy for a 9.9 should also be for a 15. So let's see. Let's pretend we bought this thing and needed to go through it. Let's see what kind of stuff we can get. It looks like it kind of uses the same kind of design as like a jet ski would. So 13 and 14 would be like a little fuel pump diagram kind of setup. Pump assembly set. So number 13, you can buy the whole thing, almost $60, or you can buy just the diaphragms for $28. Not a bad price. 7 is the needle jet. Let's find that. You can still buy the needle. 6 would be the float. You can still buy that. So not bad. Number 1, carburetor assembly. You can't buy the entire assembly for a 9.9, but you can for a 15. Figure that one. Clutch, huh? Didn't know we had one of those. Let's see. Yeah, who cares about this? We're looking for important parts. Alright, electrical. Number 1, rectifier. You can still buy rectifier. Some parts aren't available, like the starter cable, that kind of stuff, not available. Number 2, I guess I should check number 1. Neutral safety switch is available. 3, number 1, voltage regulator assembly is not available. But again, that's probably only if it's a remote electric start kind of thing, which I don't think we have. Number 11, emergency switch, not available, but it being electrical, I'm sure you could rig something together if you needed to. Fuel pump. Let's see if we can buy the entire thing. We can buy an entire filter, which is what this is, for $22. So that's fine. Gear case. Let's see what that is. Seals and stuff. All right, so 14 and 21. So 14 oil seal you can buy. 21 propeller stop. Well, you can buy that too, but you can buy the seals and some propeller hardware. So not bad. At least we're getting somewhere. Magneto. Tire assembly looks like it's number 1. Not available. 2 and 3. 2 lightning coil, not available. So that's probably to generate electricity. It's not available. But number 3, the coil primary is available for $96. So at least you can swap that component if you needed to. So that's not bad, I suppose. Oops, what'd I do? Let's check the water pump. Looks like... Come on, computer. What are you doing? Alright, I'm not seeing a... Oh, well, there you go. Water pump repair kit, $26. Let's say you only wanted to do without the housing, which would be number... Like, sorry. You don't get the housing. Housing is number 1. You can buy the new housing still, so that's not bad. And then if you want to buy the impeller only, it's right here for $21. At that point, you just buy the whole kit. So you can get a water pump kit for it. Let's check number 5. Water tube, not available. So if that other guy tried to unclog the tube and broke it, that would be a problem for us. Oh, ignition. Ignition. CDI unit. Not available. Alright, well that's pretty important. So let's copy that number. So it looks like we can buy an aftermarket CDI unit for a little less than 50 bucks. Straight from China. Not bad. If it works, hey, it works, you know? So at least you can get that. The rest of the parts looks like it's a hit or miss. Small, especially if you compare to the bigger one, the 115 or the 140. Those are the same family. Not getting much for those things. The smaller motors, the 9.9 15, they probably sold a lot more of them. They probably have a whole lot more parts laying around. So currently, you can still get most of the stuff you're going to need for one of these things. I don't think I would shy away from buying one of the small ones, but I don't know if I would ever buy one of the larger ones again. At least not from that era. Anyway, I'll see you later.